Back of the book segment tonight, the movie Lone Survivor doing very well at the box office, but not so well in the left-wing precincts. New York Magazine, it was called crude propaganda. On the website Salon, it was called a shameless war porn spectacle. And in LA Weekly, an alternative newspaper, the reviewer said it was too violent and too jingoistic. Word of the day, jingoistic. Joining us now from Chicago, film reviewer for the Sun-Times, Richard Roeper. All right, in the LA Weekly, brown people bad, American people good. So this woman, Amy Nicholson, injected race into the movie. New York Magazine, very far-left publication, having financial problems. David Edelstein says the movie is crudely written, rife with cliches, leaves out anything that would transform a piece of propaganda into a work of art. You know, on and on and on. And I'm not understanding what this is all about. This is a war movie that's based on fact, is it not?
Absolutely, Bill. And I mean, calling a war movie too violent is like saying the Titanic had too much water in it. That's what war is all about. I thought it was a very realistic depiction of war by director Peter Berg, and I thought Mark Wahlberg did a heck of a job. Look, you know, Bill, I can't speak for other critics. They write their pieces. It seems to me in this case that some people have political agendas they want to advance. I'm not saying I always leave my politics and preconceived notions at the door when I see a film, but I sure try to. And I'd like to speak a little bit to this idea of race in this movie, Bill, because first of all, very early in this movie, and I'm going to issue some spoiler alerts. Look, this is all based on real life stuff. Very early in this movie, the Navy SEALs make the choice not to kill two civilians, knowing full well that making that choice is probably going to end up with them being killed. So I don't know this notion that everybody in this movie is anti-brown or pro-white or anything like that. Race isn't really the factor here. These are two people, two entities at war.
All right, you're a left-wing guy generally, Richard. Would that be a fair assessment? You lean to the left, liberal guy, right?
Moderate left.
Okay,
I'll grant you that, Bill.
And most film critics are. I mean, Michael Medved is an exception in Seattle, but most film critics are. They're very sensitive people like you. They see the art, they understand the emotion, and all the things that I could never understand under any circumstances. But when you bring a perspective to a film that you don't like your country. I mean, all of these things, reviews that we mentioned, have one thing in common. Review it as not like the United States. Doesn't like, they all say, oh yes, Marcus Luttrell, the Navy SEALs were heroes, but their heroism was performed on behalf of a racist country, a violent country, an exploitative country. This is what they're bringing in to their review. And you said you try not to do that, but you know damn well a lot of people don't try, and that's what they build their career on. Am I wrong?
No, Bill, you're absolutely right. I mean, look, we're in the business of giving our opinions. You are on your show. I am in my column or in my reviews, and thank you very much for saying I'm a sensitive guy. I appreciate that. Big hugs for you next time I see you.
Anybody looking at you would know that, Richard.
Yeah, thank you, Bill. But I got to think, again, to go back to this movie, Bill, there's a very key segment in this film where Afghan villagers take in the American soldiers and risk their own lives because that's the code of honor that these Afghan villagers live by.
Sure.
It's not as if every single Afghani in this movie is a terrorist. As for the bad guys in this movie, they're really bad guys. We're talking about
but
they're going after...
But they are really bad guys. They
right.
are.
They are.
They didn't have to create them.
Are.
It's not Transformers. Right. They're bad guys.
Yeah.
And that's what
Bill,
they did.
You're absolutely right.
So they
These
take
guys are
a fact, these reviewers, and you know, it bleeds over into books, to music. It bleeds over into everything. And I'm just tired of it. Richard, I'm tired of it. Now I want everybody to run out and go see Lone Survivor. Should they go see it? Did you like it?
Yeah, I think it's a very well-made film, and yes, it's sometimes tough to sit through because guess what? When people get shot, when people fall down cliffs, their bones break and they bleed and they sometimes die. I think it's one of the most realistic depictions of war ever put on film. I don't think it's a particularly political film, Bill. I think it's telling the story of one mission.
Right. It's a film about what happened to Marcus Luttrell. He's the only survivor of his crew. We had him on.
He's a great American hero.
He said he was there. This is what happened, and it's on the screen. Hey, Richard, thanks a lot. We appreciate you being sensitive tonight. Thank you. Factor tip of the day, a website that will entertain you, and it's free.